this in like a raffle at like their children's school or something like that. They're like, we have an extra game, you can take it back with you. And we were just all like extremely excited. So I got to take a set back with me, but I took it out of the box and I put it in a Ziploc bag. For those of you who'd like to know about why I had so many Ziploc bags in my suitcase video from last night, I will tell you. Let me just grab the next thing. Okay. So, the next thing. Oh, I love the sound of these. I'm going to grab all of them. This is basically the board that you play on, but you're probably going to win it. And every time I'm like, no, don't you remember how this always goes? I never win. and the reason we all realise, A, I'm not competitive. That's number one. I just lose care after some time, and that's typically for these reasons. One, when I'm tired, I just get really ridiculous. Like I'm just laughing. I'm ridiculous, and I don't care. I really don't care if I win. I still try. Like I try, but I'm not like, competing. I'd say the main reason though is I go to make my lemon salad. I'm like, guys, so I'm like back and forth between my turns because like priorities, like you have to have your priorities straight. And for me, lemon salad comes like, way above winning. So I like back and forth, and I usually make some for everybody because they love it. So not everyone. There's 4 of the 5 love it, including me. One is likes it plain. Okay, so anyway, next item before I finish my story. I'm going to show you these little wood pieces. I'm like trying to alternate between sounds and show you how the game is played. So I'm going to use wood pieces for now, so you can hear some different sounds. These are what we call roads in the game. I'll finish my story, don't worry. I'm going to place these down here. They all come in these little plastic baggies. Wow, I have 2 stories to finish, I just realised, and my eye is itching like anything, so we're going to pause for a second for that. I have to finish the Ziploc bag story also. Okay, but first, I leave to go make my lemon salad, which is quite a process, so like I play my turn and then they start to go around, and I'm like usually in the kitchen listening for like what rolls are called, like what number of rolls are called, if there's any resources I get to pick up. But like, you kind of lose track of it. So I like leave, I chop my salad, I wash it, come back, play my turn, I go back, I chop the lemon, squeeze it, come back, then I come back, go back, my next turn, I do salt, oil, water, come back, put it into different bowls. So I usually am like kind of out of it for like, 3 or 4 rounds or something. I try, but I just, again, priorities. So by the time I get back with my lemon salad, my I'm like winning, and then I'm like plateaued, and by the time my salad is finished and I'm eating it, I'm definitely going down. Okay. Are there any other reasons? Yeah, sometimes it's brownies and ice cream, but that's faster. Like, we've made the brownies beforehand always. We always have brownies and mint chip ice cream. The thing is that I need to have the lemon salad. They don't get their priority is though brownies and whatever ice cream, right? So they're definitely, it's like a group break when we get our brownies and ice cream. So I don't really get that sidetracked when I have brownies and ice cream because everybody's sidetracked. So yeah, sometimes they're a factor, but not too much. So yeah, I never win because of this. I mean, I also don't win because I'm not great at it, maybe. but it always happens when I'm doing really good and then just. And the great thing is that I don't care because I'm not competitive. So it's a really great thing. And I think maybe one of the funniest things is that 2 of the 5 people we play with, they're married, by the way, are the most competitive. And that just makes it really funny the whole time. Then the other 2, that's another married couple, they're like medium. One of them's a little more like kind of medium ground. And then there's me. And like I want to play my best. Like I'm not like not playing, but I just don't care if I win or not. Whereas I'd say 3 of the 5 of our group really care. Like they will be very angry they're still watching. Okay, let's explain these pieces to you guys. So we've got what are called little roads that help you build settlements. I'm going to show you a little card in a moment that will explain what I just said, but these are little roads, and each player has a colour. So if you're blue, all your pieces are blue, etc, etc, etc. So these are called roads. Let's put them back in their little bag if we can find it. There it is. And the next thing that I'll show you is the board. There's these little cards that you can use to help you kind of remember what items you need to build what. Okay, I got them all in. So these are the little pieces that I'm talking about. Each person gets one of these, and it tells you on top that these are the building costs. So if you want to build a road, like I just showed you, the little road, you will need 2 resources. You will need lumber, or as we call it, wood, and brick. You need one of each. Once you have those 2, you can turn it in to get one of those little roads, and you can start building, okay? settling. You're building your space, you're settling into an area, you're getting all of the resources in that land, and kind of taking over your space. I don't know, that feels a bit. Anyway. Now that I'm explaining it like that, I mean, buying, trading, these sorts of things, I just play with that. I'm a big fan of sharing, so sometimes when everyone's got like so much, it's kind of like, can we just, anyway, okay. I'm talking about real life right now, not the game. Okay, so these are the settlements. Okay, wait, I said it wrong again, didn't I? I'm in my brain. See, okay. I think this should be the settlement, but it's called the city. I said it wrong before. Some of you that play this game were probably freaking out. I think I said it wrong. Let's do that again. And that's what, see, I get confused, so I said it the way that I thought. Okay, okay. This is the, let me just make sure I get this right. Yeah, they call this the settlement, and they call this the city. In my mind, I think this should be the city, and this should be the settlements. I don't know why. It's called Settlers of Catan. I feel like the bigger one's the settlement. I'm just bad with words. That's all. Ignore it. Sorry if I confused lots of people. I'm almost certain I'm wrong. That makes no sense, but in my head, that's just what it should be. So, okay. And moving on. Okay, I'm going to show you the cards that you use for the game now. There are cards that represent each of the resources. That's super loud. I wanted to shuffle for you, but it's like way too loud. Maybe if I like move out of the camera. No, that's super loud. Okay, done with that. Sorry. But these are the cards. Now you can see you've got the same on the face of the cards. You have all the different resources. So you've got brick, sheep, or wool, and you've got wood or lumber, and here's the wheat. Or what do they call it? Grain. What do you guys call these? I'm curious, like, when if for those of you that play the game, what do you usually call them? Do you call them what we call them, or do you call them the correct name? We clearly don't do it correctly. This is all. So you've got the 5. I think I grabbed an extra brick in there. So these are the 5 resources. So the way that the game works is that when it's your turn, you roll the dice, and the number that you roll determines which resources you get, and that's based on where you have same order each time, but you can start in a different place. So you can start here with on the back of this if it's an A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. The reason why that's significant is just essentially the board game changes every time, and they keep the reds kind of a bit of a distance from each other because the red represents numbers that get rolled more often. So they are rolled more often, so hence they're good numbers to have. Okay, so if you roll your number, something that you have a resource for, you get to pick up that resource. If you happen to have a city on that spot, you've gone from a settlement to a city, then you get 2 of that resource. Oops. So let's just tap on a few of these because they sound really good individually also. Wheat, 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 wheat. Grain, 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 grain. Lumber, 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 lumber. Wood, 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 wood. Brick, 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 brick. See, there's the grain, the wall, the brick, the ore, and the wood. Just have this little kind of map situation on the back of all the cards. P.S. There's lots of versions of this game that become much more resources are always different. These are the dice that you play the game with. Yellow and red, because that's kind of like the theme colours of the game. Okay. And then this is the last piece that I want to show you for the game. It's called the robber. It's a little wood piece. This starts on the desert in the beginning of the game, and anytime a 7 is rolled after the first 2 rounds of the game, anytime a 7 is rolled, you have to get rid of half of your cards if you have more than 7 cards. And the person that rolls the 7 does have the benefit that they can take it and move it to any of the spots they want, and when you place it on any of the numbers, it essentially blocks anyone from getting those resources, because if, say, a 10 is rolled like this and the robber's on top of it, so 2 or 3 resources touching it are unavailable to you, so you don't get those resources when it's rolled, so you kind of want to get that off your spot. You also get to steal a card from the person that you block, so they are not in a great position after that. And anytime you play one of those night cards, when you flip over the card, you can play those cards at any point in the game. You don't have to play them right when you receive them. If you receive a knight, like I showed you earlier, then you get to move the robber also and receive a card for it. So there's lots of other details of how the game is played, but that is the basics. Those are the basics. And more importantly, the sounds of everything. I'm just going to tap on one more thing here. This just shows you all the different kinds of games that there are. I think this is it called Seafarers? Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. So the basic is like this. No, this is not sponsored. I just love this game. I don't think I've ever done an actual sponsored video. Okay, yeah, Seafarers. Okay, this one. Purple is, what's it called? Explorers and Pirates. I've never played that. What's this one? Cities and Knights. Never played it. Traders and Barbarians. I think that's it. Yeah. So, wow, it's so complicated. I'm just like looking here, like it's not that complicated. There's just lots of like people just really love this game. So there's been so many versions. You like purchase different things to play different games. Anyway, I love it. They've got merchandise too. That's funny. I don't mention this often, but did you know that I've merchandise for this channel? There's like t-shirts and hoodies and mugs. I don't have socks. There's like pillows that say like funny things about ASMR on them. solid, they work so well for this good a price. So yeah, gold overseas. I've had friends overseas that literally wash each bag because they don't want to throw it away because it's so valuable. That's the Ziploc bag thing. Secondly, how funny was it that that little white brick road, I mean the little, here it is, it's here, it's right here. The little white road is like sitting in the corner of the white, like, pad, this thing. The whole thing, like half the video, it's like sitting there about to fall off, getting pushed around by my elbow, and I had no idea. That must have been so annoying for those of you with like OCD. Forgive me, I'm really sorry, but it was like sitting back there the whole time, and then it finally knocked it over.